Hello, I'm Cynthia Nivyawandi and welcome to the African News Network. Today we look at a pressing issue affecting Nigeria's energy sector. In a recent revelation, Dangote Industries Limited has accused international oil companies, or IOCs, of manipulating crude oil prices and sabotaging the operations of the Dangote oil refinery. This accusation raises significant questions about the interplay between local and international interests in Nigeria's oil industry. According to Deva Kumar Edwin, the vice president of oil and gas at Dangote Industries, these IOCs have been inflating premium prices beyond market rates, effectively forcing the Dangote refinery to import crude oil from distant countries, which in turn increases operational costs. Edwin claims that despite efforts by the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission to ensure local crude supply, the IOCs are either demanding exorbitant premiums or claiming unavailability of crude. This situation undermines the refinery's operations and compels it to rely on more expensive imports. Aliko Dangote, the chairman of the refinery, emphasized this issue during a recent interview with CNN, highlighting that IOCs prefer exporting crude oil over fulfilling local demands. Under the Petroleum Industry Act, IOCs are mandated to prioritize local crude supply, but compliance appears to be a persistent problem, despite the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation's efforts to enforce these regulations. This issue is not just about business competition. It reflects deeper systemic challenges within Nigeria's oil sector. Historically, the success of industrialists in developed countries has often been bolstered by substantial government support, including tax breaks, easy access to loans, favorable regulations, and protection from foreign competition. However, this level of support seems unfortunately less evident in some parts of Africa. Aliko Dangote's predicament underscores the difficulties faced by African entrepreneurs who lack the same degree of governmental support enjoyed by their counterparts. Why are the IOCs allegedly manipulating crude oil prices, and what might be their end game? Edwin suggests that the IOC's objective is to ensure the failure of the Dangote refinery by making it financially untenable for the refinery to operate using locally sourced crude. By inflating prices, these companies may be trying to maintain their dominance in the Nigerian oil market and maximize profits from exporting crude rather than supplying it locally. So, what measures can the Nigerian government take to enforce compliance with the PIA and support refineries like Dangote's? Well, one approach could involve stricter enforcement of the domestic crude oil supply obligations outlined in the PIA. The government could also implement penalties for non-compliance and also incentivize IOCs to sell crude locally at fair market prices. Additionally, providing financial support and infrastructure improvements to local refineries could help mitigate the impact of those manipulative practices. How does the current situation impact Nigeria's broader economic goals, particularly in reducing import dependency and stimulating economic growth? The Dangote refinery is crucial for addressing Nigeria's ongoing fuel shortages, reducing its dependence on imported refined products, and stimulating economic growth. If local refineries can operate efficiently and profitably, it would create jobs, reduce foreign exchange outflows, and enhance energy security. The allegations of sabotage extend beyond crude oil pricing. Mr. Edwin also criticized the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority for issuing licenses indiscriminately to marketers importing substandard refined products into the country. He contends that these actions are detrimental to local refiners and perpetuate Nigeria's dependency on imported refined products. On Wednesday, a fire incident at the Dangote refinery in Lagos was described as an act of sabotage by the Disciples of Jagaban, a support group of President Bola Tinubu. The group claims that enemies of Nigeria who have historically sabotaged previous governments for selfish gains are now targeting the current administration and its initiatives, including the Dangote refinery. Is there a coordinated effort to undermine Nigeria's economic reforms and industrial advancements? Well, the DOJ suggests that there are indeed organized efforts by various groups, including the so-called oil mafia and political scavengers, to destabilize the country's economic progress. They argue that these groups benefit from maintaining the status quo and preventing reforms that could reduce their influence and profits. In response to the fire incident, the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria has called for heightened security around the Dangote refinery. They allege that insiders within the Nigerian government are being used as agents by IOCs to sabotage the refinery, a facility they describe as a national pride and an invaluable heritage that must be protected. What role should the NNPC play in ensuring the viability of local refineries, especially when it holds a 20% investment in the Dangote refinery? Financial planning expert Kalu Aja and other commentators argue that the NNPC should allocate more of its crude oil output to local refineries like Dangote's. By doing so, the NNPC would not only support its investments, but also help stabilize the local fuel market and reduce reliance on imports. Despite these challenges, the Dangote refinery, with its capacity to process 650,000 barrels per day, aims to meet Nigeria's demand for refined petroleum products and export the surplus. This project is critical for addressing fuel shortages, reducing import dependency, and fostering economic growth in Nigeria. In conclusion, the situation surrounding the Dangote refinery is a microcosm of the larger struggles within Nigeria's energy sector. It highlights the tension between local and international interests and emphasizes the need for robust regulatory oversight and government support to local refineries. As we continue to monitor this developing story, one thing remains clear. The future of Nigeria's energy sector and its economic stability depend on resolving these kind of conflicts and fostering a more supportive environment for local enterprises. Thank you for joining us today. Stay connected to the African News Network on our website, mobile app, and social media platforms for more on what's happening in and around the African continent.